to school, but of course they were turned back because, of course, workers who are in the employs of the state governments also said, no, what Labour has said, we should not come to work.
So what's going to happen to students writing WAEC?
WAEC said it will go on.
But
and again,
it's the same teachers that will invigilate.
We must understand that WAEC is not a Nigerian examination. It is a West African examination. Okay. We cannot use our own seriousness to rub off on other countries that are prepared. It just means that we need to up our ante as a country
and put our
house in order. And I think also government left this thing, especially the National Assembly, left this thing too late. Labour had been shouting. They had been walking out of the negotiation meetings for almost 3 days. I mean, 3 days last week they walked out. Why wait till last night?
They were busy with the national anthem.
Okay, so Femi Falana said the same speech, the same seriousness that you accorded the national anthem. Can you also look at the minimum wage that way? So again, here is a matter of, can government actually pay the 500,000 or the 497? So if the question is no, can we come to a midpoint? Even if it is the 100, Labour said we will not collect anything other than the 3 figures. 100,000 is 3 figures.
Yes. Okay, what do I even want to say? Okay, when you look at the quality of men and women that attended the meeting yesterday with the Labour leaders, I was just like, where were they before now?
Where were they?
So Labour has not done anything wrong by declaring the strike. They gave government ample time.
Ample time to have done the
But to the federal government, it was just like a comedy. They were tossing Labour leaders up and down, offering 33,000 from 57 to 60,000 naira. And when you look at the economy of today, I want to see how any family, a father, a mother, and their children, 2 children, will survive on 60,000 naira. Then we'll see the kind of life that our political leaders are living.
Yeah, others are also
it's a sharp contrast.
That the workforce, both the state and federal, in the country, they are not more than 25%. And so if you're not looking at that to justify the minimum wage, you're not also being fair, because also the private sector cannot pay that amount. So for them will be, can you begin to institute the living wage?
Living wage, yeah.
As against the minimum wage.
Which was what Mr. President promised.
So again, all of those things are topsy-turvy, but thankfully that's what we'll be taking a look at on the conversation today. Maybe our guest will be able to help us here find a balance. But let's quickly go on with the show and go ahead with our news points for today. Ajibola, your news point?
Okay, my news point this morning is one trend in the country. And of course, it's about the national new minimum wage. Fuel, health, schools, courts, banks, others to be grounded as strike begins today. The story goes thus: fuel distribution, health, bank, and other essential services nationwide will be shut from today as organized labor begin an indefinite strike over minimum wage and the recent hike in electricity tariff. But the federal government, in a swift reaction, yesterday warned the NLC TUC to shelve the proposed indefinite strike, saying it was illegal. This is even as the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, Speaker, House of Reps, Tajuddin Abbas, SGF to the federal government, George Akume, Chief of Staff, Minister of Finance, and some other top functionaries of the federal government met with labor leaders yesterday. But the meeting ended in a deadlock. And of course, Labour did say that they are going to proceed with a strike. However, as part of the mobilization for the strike, the TUC and the NLC has directed the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Pengasan, as BFI, senior staff of banks, insurance and financial institutions, and every other affiliate union to please comply with the strike. Earlier, Nigerian Labour Congress affiliates, including NUPENG, MWN, and some other unions, have also written to their members to ensure absolute compliance.
And absolute compliance we have, because of course at about 2:19 a.m. the TCN struck, and there's total blackout. So the banks will also stay off because as BFI will also be part of the strike.
I hope the ATMs will be working.
When have the ATMs been working?
When last did I use an ATM?
It's POS that we use.
There's no problem. If you have cash and if you have cash too, I'll collect some. I'll collect here and there.
Jibola, let me quickly tell you, the lady that does POS service, she's outside the gate.
I saw.
Go and
I wanted to collect the POS. No, I'll collect the POS and I'll be dispensing on her behalf.
Quickly go and collect it. Do that. I mean, it just shows that. And you know, in a long time, this is about the first time that many of the affiliates will support the call for a strike. I mean, we've had calls for strike, 2 or 3 times now that, you know,
Even
the banks
this year.
will open.
Midnight, it was called off.
And even, you know, the first day that Labour will say, okay, we are gathering momentum, all of these other places will open. But as at Friday, a lot of these unions were already sending out memos saying, don't come, stay at home. And I think how we are now all know that this is serious is when TCN struck and they took power. So for those that thought that the power outage was just outage, hear it now, they've joined in the strike. So we are all in total darkness.
I know if this should continue
if Nupeng also joins, which means that they will not lift fuel.
They won't lift fuel.
And if this should continue for days, I don't want to imagine the hardship that Nigerians are going to face.
Shebi, we were facing hardship before. What will we now face?
Double hardship.
Hardship.
If
there's anything like that.
Hardship it will be. I didn't even pay your story.
Okay, I have Gencos to federal government pay 2 trillion naira debt to avert national security challenges. The electricity generation companies, known as Gencos, have urged the federal government to pay its over 2 trillion naira outstanding debt to prevent national security challenges. The board's chairman, Colonel Sani Bello, retired, said this in a statement. He threatened companies' operations. He said Gencos are currently owed 2 trillion naira for power they generated, put onto the national grid and consumed by end users. Bello said aside the 2 trillion naira, there was an additional 1.7 trillion naira due to the funding gap created by the supplementary multi-year tariff order. That is another issue on its own. You know, this has nothing to do with this strike. This has nothing to do with this strike.
You hear certain things and you just wonder that, I mean, how did we get here? Or, I mean, where is this one coming from?
How did we get here? Yeah.
So the issues in the power sector is one that we're still glossing over. We have still not... We're still scratching the surface.
Exactly.
We still do not understand
issues we haven't
the issues
reached.
with this. Genco today will come with their own. TCN tomorrow will come with
their.
I'm not sure Adelabu understands what exactly is going on in that ministry, because by the day, all of the things that keeps on unraveling itself in that sector, it just keeps demystifying all of the little gains and the little solutions that the ministry seem to be bringing on board. So here, I don't know if it is a case of, can it even be a case of sabotage?
It's not a case of, this is reality, Abimbola. And like you have rightly said, it is not as if I have anything against Adebimbe's brother. That's the Honorable Minister of Power. I do not have anything against him, but he has not done his due diligence. He does not understand what exactly is going on in that ministry.
That ministry is just
keeps unraveling,
demystifying.
I saw a video of the Honorable Minister over the weekend. His wife celebrated his 50th birthday, and he was talking to one influencer on Instagram. The guy was saying that, we should off our freezers, they should off their lights, and the minister was repeating what the guy was saying.
But he was
and he denied it all.
He was cool. Of course, I saw the video. I saw the video you're talking about.
He was only echoing.
And I don't even know when Mr. President is going to reshuffle.
Well,
Reports are
let's see
not
how
out.
the
The
reports.
country is tensed.
So many things happening at the moment. All right, my story this morning will be on the Aba killings, where Mr. President says my government will not tolerate any act of treason. Remember last week, Thursday, during the commemoration of Biafra Day, some soldiers, about 3 soldiers, were said to have been gunned down by unknown gunmen in Abia. And aftermath that incident, the president in his reaction said, the killing of 5 soldiers in the state could be described as an incident of treason. And he threatens that the federal government will go after those who have made it a habit to attack officers and men of the armed forces. Okay.
These are men who have sacrificed their life, their time, of course, everything that they had
Their
for the
families,
safety of the country. And some people had the effrontery to kill these people. Remember what happened in Delta recently as well?
Recently, yes.
Where some soldiers were killed as well. You know, people take laws into their hands as if there is no government in place. I hope these people, the federal government will get hold of these people and, of course, deal with them in accordance with the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
I think until we also remove the toga of unknown gunmen, we will continue. I mean, why? And it is now becoming unbecoming where people will get killed and you label them unknown gunmen.
Are they ghosts?
They're not ghosts, they're humans. And so and this is where security operatives must also do their very best at ensuring that if you do have arms illegally and you are in the habit of killing people, especially security forces, then you must be fished out. You must also be made to pay for taking another life. I mean, and it's unwanted because these are guys who are also defending the integrity of the land. And then you go ahead to kill them for what reason? I mean, they are in Abia to maintain law and order. So if you are going about your own business unlawfully, while kill people who are in uniform who are also doing their own biddings of protecting the land.
It says a
Then
lot about
the chief security officer of the state, what did he do
Isn't that the
prior to that day? And, you know, he was making certain statements, and in my mind, I was like, is this the governor?
I don't know. Certain things, you don't know what happened, and then you just wonder what exactly is going on. Of course, let's head to X this morning and take a look at our trending story, which is a hashtag. A nationwide strike is trending. It's trending, I was going to say bigly. It's trending widely on the X platform this morning, and a whole lot of people are just, you know, angry and talking about the facts. There's so many things going on. The grid shut down, union deliberately shut down the national grid, talking about the grid. Of course, still talking about the nationwide strike. WAEC is saying, you know, be informed that the nationwide strike by NLC and TUC does not affect these examinations. Adebimpe asked that question later. Of course, Abuja Airport is also under lock and key as we speak. Whole lot of issues happening right now concerning the nationwide strike. Students are being turned back home, and of course this goes to parents. If you left the house this morning, especially for public schools students, and you know your child had gone to school, please call the house and be sure that they are back home, because most schools, public schools in Lagos, aren't working today. So please be sure that your words are back home. But I mean, everybody at the moment, at least majority this morning, have been affected by the nationwide strike.
Well, like it or not, the strike is real, and it is happening live in some parts of the country. There's a statement credited to the spokesperson of the Nigerian police. The Nigerian police telling Labour to shelve the strike.
Exactly.
And I'm going to read part of the statement.
I saw that this morning.
In a statement by the First Public Relations Officer, Olumiwa Adejobi, explained that avoiding the strike will prevent a breakdown of law and order within the country. In the light of the federal government's recent declaration that the planned strike is not legal, the Nigerian police force view this as an action as a catalyst for increased tension and political instability in the country. And here the police is threatening Labour leaders not to go on strike. We are not in a military era.
Exactly.
Well,
You
know,
can only appeal to them to ensure that there is no breakdown of law and order.
Language is very important.
You don't threaten.
Very important. You can't threaten. You can only appeal. And just like the meeting that was called last night, the Senate President and a whole lot others, you know, appealed to Labour. But Labour did say that, well, we didn't take that decision by ourselves. Our members also were part of it. So we'll go back and talk to our members. And I remember also the press release that was signed by the Minister for Information yesterday also did say that they have also asked the federal government to continue to pay the wage award.
35,000?
Yes, 35,000, the wage award. So I'm sure that all of these things will be taken back to the federal government and see how, you know, at least just douse the tension. It is big, and a lot of people are angry. As we speak. We can't take that out.
The country is already tense, like I said, and why did the federal government wait till now? Where was the chief of staff before now? Where was the Senate president? Where was Speaker House of Reps?
They waited too late.
So they thought Labour leaders were joking.
Probably.
Now the joke is real.
Probably. All right.
No longer comment.
Those are the news points as well as our hashtag for today. We will take a quick break. When the conversation returns, part one of the conversation will be here. And of course, we'll be talking about the nationwide strike impact on Labour. And okay, so that's probably what our conversation will be about today. We'll take this quick break and we'll be back.